One major thing about these videos is honesty, which me personally, I struggle with. Maybe not to the point where I can't be honest, but to the point where it's uncomfortable. And I'm not talking about honesty like admitting when you do something wrong. I'm talking about raw honesty with yourself. Accepting that even the things that you don't like is part of your character, and accepting the uncomfortable parts of yourself. That's the hardest type of honesty, I think. And these videos, they force me to be uncomfortable. I don't like how my voice sounds. I don't like how I talk. I'm not used to talking. I stutter all the time. I kind of look kind of weird right now. I'm kind of a loser, to be honest. And sometimes I act like I know what I'm talking about, but nobody knows what they're talking about. We're all just figuring this out. But I sit here with that. I sit here with that feeling, oh, I look stupid right now. And I do it anyways. And I think that's something that we could all do more in our life. There's some in my eye right now. I think that's something we could do more in just our everyday life. Being able to sit with the things that we're uncomfortable with and do things that we're uncomfortable with. It goes into breaking procrastination, because otherwise I would be procrastinating and not making these videos, not trying to come forward and talk because I think I look stupid, right? This would never exist if I didn't sit with that uncomfortable feeling in my chest, like physical feeling. I feel that. It's weird, it's tense. You gotta sit with it. That feeling of being alone can be uncomfortable for some. Or for others, the feeling of being around people and trying to socialize can be uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is just experiencing something that doesn't relate to any of your preconceived biases or memories or any of that. When something doesn't make sense, you can't explain it with what you already know. It's uncomfortable. And without that, you would never be able to explain anything new. You would only know what you know and stay inside that comfort zone. I think it's good to practice being uncomfortable sometimes. I just started doing these videos, but before this, I would sit and stare at a wall. Just sit there and stare at a wall and just set a timer for like 10 minutes. Just sit there. And it sucks. You're thinking the whole time, you're like, bro, I am so bored. Like, you actually start tweaking out, and it pushes you to your limit, and it's what you need, because at that point, you'll be willing to do anything. That boredom, think about that. I'll write a fucking essay instead of sitting here for another minute. You know what I mean? Then you want to do something. Sitting with that uncomfortability makes you feel good. I feel good after doing these videos. Even looking back at them and thinking, why do I look like that? Why am I talking like that? What am I saying right now? What is the point of this? I feel better still. I ignored it and I feel better still. Maybe that's something that we shouldn't see as bad. Maybe uncomfortability should be understood as a tool. And really, I don't believe anything is good or bad. And I can get into that in another video. But everything simply is, right? And everything has its impacts, and we can determine those impacts as either good or bad based off of whether it benefits our ideas or not. But everything is. Things can be destructive, doesn't mean it's bad, because it creates room for growth, and things can grow, but that doesn't mean it's good, because it leads to less diversity. So I would say everything is on a scale, including uncomfortability. But I wouldn't even say it's a majority bad thing. I think the only bad thing about uncomfortability is how it feels. But that's just the feeling. Outside of that, there's no bad side effects that I've noticed to being uncomfortable. Maybe you might be uncomfortable in certain situations where it comes down to survival, but when it comes to all this societal mess and this whole game we play, uncomfortability is just something that's built into our brains. We're just making up our own uncomfortability at this point, because we think we know everything, and when something is and we don't know is, when something is and we don't understand it, that makes us uncomfortable. But it's not about survival anymore. It's something that you can accept as a feeling and make action, not just based off of that fear of uncomfortability, but understanding this is uncomfortable, it's not gonna feel good, and I'm gonna do it anyways. Because it's not about survival in most cases. Now, there's a difference in uncomfortability that you opt into and uncomfortability that comes from people and things penetrating your energy. I don't think you should sit there in an uncomfortable situation where you feel like your energy is being penetrated, or you feel like you don't belong. Don't force yourself around people that take from your energy. That's not the type of uncomfortable we're talking about. I mean uncomfortability in terms of growing what you already know and what you're capable of. The uncomfortability that stands in front of the things that we want. I think in my next video I'll get more into my views on like morals, good and bad, all that type of stuff, the way this whole stuff works. I have so many views and concepts that make sense to me that I want to share with the world, and it definitely can't be pieced together just like one step at a time. You have to watch through these videos to understand the mindset. But if you're still here listening, thank you. That's really all I had to say about uncomfortability. If there's one thing you take from this, go sit outside and be uncomfortable for 30 minutes and see what it does for you. See how productive you can be after that. Or try exposure therapy. Be uncomfortable. Get rejected. Do something you don't want to do. Don't be scared of that shit. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. But yeah.